glad to have you back. The show is still Political Spectrum, reaching you live from the beautiful hills of Ibiakuran. And yes, we said on this part that we are going to be taking a look at zoning formula in the People's Democratic Party because they've ruled just for 2 years within the time span that the People's Democratic Party has been in power. And that was during the era of the administration of former President Marumu Seyeru, blessed memory. May so rest in peace. But then the South believes that power should come to the Southeast precisely for equity's sake. And going back and forth, we've seen Atiku Abubakar again declare and also purchase the nomination forms. And just recently, just yesterday, Governor Yesom Wike of Rivers State also did same. Now, and we would like to ask, because we've been joined precisely on this show by Dr. Wisdom. And now he is a public commentator. He is a person that lends voice on issues such as this, and I would like to key into his wealth of knowledge on this particular issue. Good morning, Mr. Anang. Hello, good morning.
Hi, good morning.
Yes, I trust you can hear me better now.
Yes, I can hear a little better.
All right, that's fine. With this issue going back and forth with within the People's Democratic Party, what are your thoughts on it exactly? What is your position with zoning, if you must lend a voice in this issue? How do you see the formula? Do you believe it should be zoned to the north or to the south? Or if it comes to the south, should it be sub-zoned to either the southeast or any other, the southwest, as the case may be? What are your thoughts on that?
Sorry, can you repeat the question? I can't hear very well.
Okay, Doctor, the question is, okay, I'm sure you are aware of the back and forth with regards to zoning within the People's Democratic Party. Earlier, I think late in the course of last year, the APC had decided to zone their presidential ticket to the south. And the PDP, it's been a back and forth. And then the PDP had resolved that even if it is micro-zoned to any of the hemispheres of the country, that it would not bar aspirants from the other hemisphere of the country from getting their forms. And sequel to the meetings of the Southern Governors Forum sometimes last year, they had decided that power should return to the South, to which the Northern governors and other elite in the North had kicked. And very recently, there was another meeting in New York in Akwa Ibom affirming the earlier stance. But recently, we've seen Alhaji Atiku Abubakar join the race by officially picking up the PDP form. The same with the Rivers State governor. How do you view this, and to what extent would it impact the unity of the People's Democratic Party?
Okay, so for my thoughts, I think the options before the People's Democratic Party is very, very tough ones. First, trying to gain back the leadership of the country, and there you would see sentiment leaning more towards where can we get the most population to back the candidate. It also depends on the gameplay of the APC. Depends on literally what they do, because it's sort of a game of chess. The actions they take would depend very much on what the other parties are doing as well. The other parties. On the zoning to the south, it is on the basis of equity and fairness that school of thought has come out. But I think right now they just need to look at what is the overall objective. Is it to get a wider participation from the other side of the country where they're zoning to, or to win the country, which is ultimately to play the game plan of take the presidential ticket to the north and let the northern guys contribute their quote and get this overturned. Of course, it also depends, as I said, what the APC ultimately do, because I think the fundamental assumption there is that if it is taken to the north and the APC chooses a different region, for example, then it therefore means that the sympathizers from the north will contribute the votes that are required to win. So right now, I think the two game plans have merit. It's just which one they will eventually go for.
Okay, Dr. Enang, you see, for people who told that line of argument, I would like to draw your minds to the election between Alhaji Tofa of the NRC and Chief MKO Abiola of the SDP, who hailed from the southwestern part of Nigeria and then had even won Alhaji Tofa in his hometown, Kano. So how true and how solid is that argument that it is only okay? Let me quote the governor of Sokoto State, Right Honorable Aminu Tambuwal, who said that at this point the PDP should be more concerned about taking back power other than where power other than where the presidency is zoned to. And then it begs the question: does this mean that there is nobody from the south who can win a presidential election? If you marry that with what happened in the case of MK Abiola and Alhaji Tofa, can I hear your take on that?
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, we have to look at politics in light of the existing sentiments, political sentiment. We have more numbers up north, and we know that ultimately in the general elections that the numbers makes the difference. So, as I said, if we need to have a south, a candidate, then the plan should be very intense on how to get the numbers from the north, which, maybe a deputy from the north will give us the sort of numbers that we're looking at. That should be the plan. As I said again, it also depends. See, the ultimate elections also depends on the choices the people have. If we're looking at what the AP is doing, are they going to go north? Are they going to go southwest? Are they going to go south-south? What is the game card on the table? For example, if you produce a southwest and a south-south, maybe from each of the parties candidates, then maybe the ground is a bit even, because now you just have to battle for, everybody's battling for the north on a neutral ground of who is the deputy and who is going to have much influence. But you see, the argument is, if you go north and that is accepted by the stakeholders, for example, then what you find is that the sympathy might be more towards voting the northern president by their own people, just because of the numbers that they have from there. So I think if I were in the PDP stakeholder group, I would be looking at closely what the APC actually does ultimately, because that would affect the move that I'm going to make next.
Okay, hello.
So
hello. Let me cut you there. Now there has been a little bit of argument with regards to that take of yours, where you say the People's Democratic Party would have to be looking at what the All Progressives Congress is doing. Well, they've said that at the time, they've always been in contrast, that at the time the People's Democratic Party went north during Alhaji Umaru Musa Yar'Adua's regime, they were coming south and all of that. It's always been that this one is going north and this one is going south, that they do not necessarily need to follow the voting, the zoning pattern of the All Progressives Congress. That being the case, they strongly believe that Alhaji Atiku Abubakar can actually give them the number they want, but if given the mandate. However, this is conflicting the decision of the South-South Governors Forum, which of course they solely believe that power should come back to the South. Now, in your line of thought, do you see them having conflict within this arrangement? Or do you think that it's possible for power to go back to the North and return back to the South? Because Alhaji Atiku Abubakar is asking for just a single tenure of 4 years, with which he will hand over to
do the politicians ever abide by that?
Well, do you see that being anything to go by? Do you see that as a viable argument?
Yeah, sorry, I need some help with the question again. It was a bit, the line was a bit bad there.
Okay, is it viable, the argument, the line of thought of Alhaji Atiku Abubakar's campaign? Can you hear me?
Not very clearly.
Okay, maybe my co-anchor will re-echo the question.
Okay. I will just summarize. Alhaji Atiku Abubakar has been heard to say that if he is allowed a shot at the presidency, he would just do a term and then relinquish that slot to the South. How can we hold forth to that statement, bearing in mind the nature of a typical politician and how they treat power.
So if we allow what to the north and the south?
Alhaji Atiku Abubakar has said that should he be allowed a spot at a shot at the presidency and he clinches it, that he would do just a tenure and then let power return to the South. Now, can the South honor such a statement if they are even to go by that?
Or can the South? I mean, to be honest, I don't know that I can take any politician's claim very seriously before they get into power. That's the truth. You keep hearing they're going to do one term and then send it to the South. But sometimes, 90% out of the times it doesn't really materialize the way they've said it pre-elections. I think I remain very focused on saying, on the basis of fairness, we definitely need power to rotate, and also so that we have new players at the center and maybe new ideas coming. It's just the game plan needs to be very intense if we're going south to just make sure we win the hearts of the guys up north. But it's definitely something that the PDP needs to be very strategic about.
Okay.
I see some very good moves that has been done to make it a more youth-centered party. For example, you've heard of the reduced prices for the nomination forms and some of the discounts given to the youths. That's a good one because it endears the youths to kind of feel that there's that thoughtfulness towards them.
Okay.
I'm not sure what other ideas they will be coming up with to sort of maybe win the sentiment, I would say, for lack of a better word, from the other angle of the country where the votes count. But I see they're doing some fantastic ideas to just change the narrative for what it used to be before now.
All right, thank you, Dr. Enang. From the conversation, one can deduce that while the northern elite in the PDP just want power back, their argument tends to sound more of a neglect to national integration. It's just about getting power back. But whatever works, I don't know. I don't know how that goes. And I don't know which should be more paramount, the party getting power back at all costs. Because right now in Nigeria, the biggest discourse should be national integration, because the unity of Nigeria is fragile on many fronts. There will be a lot of agitations here and there. So I would be thinking that national integration would be more, but the northern argument sounds more of let's just get power back.
Yes, that's what it sounds like. And my question is the power going to be taken back for the sake of taking power back, or is there a plan? And I think if there's a plan to rescue the country from the current situation where it is, where a number of factors are attributed to the current situation, that needs to be really, really spoken out. We need some sort of enlightenment on those plans of what the PDP is bringing differently to the table, because that's what would make the difference. If you look at some of the reforms that have been made from the electoral standpoint, it reduces the chances of electoral fraud. So any party now should be looking at really understanding what the problems that we have and what they're going to do differently. It's not just to come to the center. You need to be strategic about coming to the center and bringing value to the center and the national economy at large.
Well, thank you very much. We really want to thank you for sharing your thoughts with us on the show. Couldn't agree less about bringing value to the center, which should be a priority or be prioritized amongst all political parties, regardless of your ideologies. And I think Nigeria is one central point that unites all parties together. And if any party must come to power, funny enough, a lot of people believe that the People's Democratic Party are doing a lot of a better opposition and are getting the governing party on their toes to, sit up on some certain policies and all of that. But then they want to take back power at all costs. They want to take back power. They want to, grab power.
Well, like Doctor has said, it shouldn't just be about taking back power. they should have a plan.
Well, we'll look forward to seeing their plans on that. Thank you very much, Dr. Anang, for speaking with us on the show.
Thank you.
All right.
I appreciate it.
Okay.
We'll put a pause here and go on a short time out. We'll be back shortly. Please stay.